Always a great time to cut the nets, fellas.
All right, so I can't find, for some reason, I think it's gone, our intro, which is really, really bad because I liked our intro.
Well, it was 12 years ago.
We should probably create another one.
Good. I mean, we put so much effort into the show over the last 10 years anyway. Why not?
It's not here. I don't know where it is. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Well, welcome back, everybody. I am back. Jimmy is not. And we're ready for this. Wait. We don't even have our, anything going on here. Our banners are gone. Everything's gone.
Maybe my 10-year contract with Randy is expired.
I am I am disconcerting. It is very disconcerting right now. We're gone.
On the bright side, my volume works and the picture works. I'll take
it. There we go. Well, we got something. What I really can't get is I can't move the BSP to Seth and Sean or anything else for that matter. So I don't know what's going on, but we have a new background today. So that's Seth Kamens. I'm Sean Palmer, Seth and Sean Sports, here on StreamYard, and for now, backsportspage.com, because I don't know. But all right,
Wait,
so
does that mean if Randy kicks us off, he kicks us off? Do we call Portnoy at Barstool and see if we can get on there?
Yes, we should probably do that. But that would mean we'd have to keep the same time every week, and I'm not sure we're accustomed to doing that.
Well, one of us is. One of us is not.
You from the basement and me from the living room. So, all right. First of all, while my Jets suck, while my Mets may be okay, while my Islanders are in second to last place, my Knicks are looking really good. They put up 145 the last two games. 145, Seth.
Their starting five is as talented as you get. I mean, they're a game out of second, something like half game out of second.
Oh, in the conference, they're a game behind the Celtics. And I just want to go through. We love stats on this show. Well, I love stats. I'm not sure Seth loves stats, but
not to the same degree. I like them, but not like you.
Let's go through some of these stats that happened the other day. So the Knicks won 143 to 106. Just throw that out. So
gotcha.
They outscored the Grizzlies. Now, this is the Grizzlies. This is not like you're playing against the Nets or you're playing against, even this year, the 76ers. You're playing with Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, and Desmond Bane. So three guys that are either on maxes or fun maxes or legitimate top 50 players in the NBA, right? Those three guys, top 50? All right.
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson, who is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate every year, has a minus 33 point differential. Ja Morant has a minus 41 point for a differential. And Desmond Bane have a minus 35 point differential. Now, let's throw it the other way. Mikal Bridges, who plays 34 minutes, has a plus 43. And OG Anunoby, who plays 34 minutes, has a plus 41. This is what the Knicks thought they were getting, right? Two guys that lock down everybody that's on the court. This is a team that can contend, provided they are healthy. This is a team.
Look, you've got one fundamental issue.
We got no depth.
But nobody knows if you have depth because you're playing your stars 40 minutes a game.
No, we put him 34.
If you take the average, Mikal Bridges, I believe, is leading the league in minutes.
Probably.
I think Josh Hart is third, although I think he's maybe on the couple days. He may have, or I think this happens with all the Thibodeau teams.
Yep.
Now, is Mitchell Robinson ever coming back?
Nah, I don't know.
So,
I don't know. So Mikal Bridges is number 1 with 38.4. Josh Hart, you're right, is 3 at 37.6. OG is tied for 6th. And the next Nick is way down the list. Brunson is 24th at 35.
okay. So it's the same question we have any year with the Thibodeau team.
Yeah.
What happens in game 6 of the semifinals? Let's just say this holds.
Sure.
Game 6, game 5 of against the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to wear down? That's what it is. I mean,
well,
look,
hold on.
the starting five.
Hold on. Before we go there, right? Before we go there. Okay. So Jason Tatum is 8th with 36.4 points per game. Jaylen Brown is 21st with 35.5. Sorry, not points per game, minutes per game.
Okay.
So Derek White is 40th with 33 minutes per game. Okay, so the difference between Mikal Bridges and Jason Tatum is 2 minutes a game.
Fair.
The
Perfectly fair.
Between Brunson and Brown is 0.4 minutes per game.
I guess my question is, you take out Derek White, you bring in Peyton Pritchard.
Sure.
You take out Mikal Bridges. I honestly don't have the slightest idea who you're putting in.
Well, let's remember also they play 2 entirely different positions, right?
Tatum is a small, Bridges is a small.
No. Bridges is playing the 3 and Pritchard is playing the 1.
Oh, no, Pritchard is a 1. Okay, fine. No, Pritchard's a, yes. I meant between Tatum and.
So I take out Brunson and I put in McBride. I take out White and I put in Pritchard. Okay, I'm good with that. Yeah. Both of those. Okay. You're absolutely right. There is very little depth on this team.
The funny thing is, I really don't know if there is any depth on this team. He just doesn't play any depth.
Well, he played against Sacramento, which is 2 games ago when they won 143 to 120. Precious Achiuwa played 18 minutes at plus.
No. You can't go by a game by a blowout.
Hold on, but it wasn't a blowout to the third quarter.
It wasn't a blowout until the third quarter.
So New York was up 13.
No, but my point being...
Hold on. New York was up 13 in the first. Okay. Then they lost. So they were up 7 in the second. That's not a blowout.
No, but my point is there. These are. I want to see how much they play in a 4-point game or a 7-point game.
Okay, that is incredibly fair. So I'm going to look up their last 4-point game, right? Let's see what they did. Okay, so last 99-95. That's a 4-point game, right? Guess who that was against?
The Nets?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So 99-95. So let's look at the box score. So Precious played the same 18 minutes. He played.
Okay.
He was -5. He had 11 points. McBride played 18 minutes. He was plus.
Okay.
He was -6. He had 7 points. Landry Shamet played 6 minutes. He brought his bench down to 9.
Look, if he's playing 9 guys, that's a fine bench.
You're going to see that in the playoffs anyway. I mean, he played Cameron Payne 9 minutes, and he played Landry Shamet 6. So he really had two guys off the bench that played more than 15, and that was McBride and Achiuwa. So he's playing a 7-man team, right, with 2 guys that can play. And if Mitchell Robinson ever does come back, which I'm telling you, I don't think he is. But if he does, that's another big man that you'll probably see with Ocho.
Do you make a run? Is there a big man you want? Is there anything you want to pick up at this point to make the final run?
Oh, I would love to get Anthony Davis. I mean, is he?
You're not
available?
getting Anthony Davis in the next 5 days.
I mean, look, you asked me, is there anything I want? Of course there's stuff I want. Is there anything that's attainable? No, there's not. I mean, if I want Vucevic out of Chicago, he's attainable. He is. But what?
That's not the right fit.
Right. Well, that's my point. You want
Right.
if
But
you're
to
looking,
me, if you could get one more bench guy who Thibodeau would play 15 minutes a game.
I don't think he's out there, Seth. Valanciunas is not that guy.
No, he's too.
Vucevic is not that guy.
No, they're not.
I mean, the one guy that's there is Walker Kessler. I would love to get Walker Kessler out of Utah, but I can't give him enough to get him.
No, you can't.
He's a $2.4 to $3 million salary. So the only way that I'm getting him is giving Miles McBride. And I'm not getting Deuce McBride. And I'm not giving it to him. I can't. That may be one of the most valuable contracts in the NBA. He's got 4 years at $6 million. Like, wow, for a backup point guard, a legit backup point guard. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at a guy that I would want, it would be Walker Kessler. And
okay,
if I can,
I don't even know if he's available. Is he available in Utah from Utah?
I think everybody's available.
Or everyone's available from Utah.
Everybody's available, but remember who's behind that.
They're flagging for flag.
Remember who's behind that? Our man Danny Ainge, and Danny Ainge doesn't lose trades ever. Danny Ainge wins trades. Welcome to the Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce deal.
Thank you for that memory.
Look,
I prefer the Markelle Fultz deal.
Well, that one too. He won that handily. Yeah. And the Jaylen Brown deal, right? I mean, all these deals. Danny Ainge is really good at what Danny Ainge does. And never.
Are you talking like Ricky for any particular reason?
No, because I'm not talking about myself.
You're using both names. It sounds
Wait,
weird.
Ricky never used his last name. He just used Ricky.
That is true. He only used Ricky.
I mean, I'm not. Danny Ainge is good at what Danny Ainge does. What am I supposed to say? Danny's good at what Danny does?
There you go. Fair enough.
So all right. We have trade deadline coming up a week from tomorrow. No, a week from Tuesday? Hold on. NBA trade deadline.
I think it's a week from Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of these teams that are looking to make deals. Miami Heat? Yeah, they're looking. I don't know where – I know where Jimmy is now. Well, I know where he's not. He's not at practice.
He's in Miami. He's just not at practice.
No, he may be at Miami. He may be on a vacation in Punta Cana for all the Heat know. He's certainly not playing. He was suspended indefinitely. And we can talk about all the permutations of him. And I saw a deal yesterday. Now, remember, there are certain things that happen with Jimmy Butler. There are certain things that happen with the second apron. And there are lots of teams that are on the second apron. There are lots of teams on the first apron. So let's go through some of these. Number one, if you are a first apron team, you cannot take back more money than you give out.
Correct.
That is important. So if you're trading Jimmy Butler to, say, Phoenix, they have to give out more money than they're giving in. Now, if you're Phoenix, which is a second apron team, let's talk about what those mean. You cannot aggregate salaries, which means if you are trading for Jimmy Butler, there is only one way to do that, and that is Bradley Beal. Because Bradley Beal is the only, unless your name is Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, which you are not trading, there is only one play to get Jimmy Butler. Now, who's in the driver's seat here? Driver's seat is the Nets.
Yes.
The Pistons, and the Jazz. Because those are teams that can facilitate trades. Take on more salary. They are all under the cap and all under the luxury tax. And they can be facilitators, which means give me some booty for taking on a Tim Hardaway. or give me some extra booty, and by booty I mean Pirates booty. Give me some booty in order for taking on X contract or Y contract, or just assuming $5 million. Now, unlike the NHL, you are not allowed to retain salary in the NBA. You can't trade a guy and keep $5 million of their salary, which is a little thing a little nitpick to the NHL cap, which is kind of fun. You're allowed 3 retention numbers. Now, the difference is the NHL is a hard cap, not a soft cap. Difference.
Correct.
So not to go to sleep over all this cap knowledge. So we have De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox.
He immediately is the most valuable player on the trading block.
He is. The question being, having had an All-NBA third team, wanting a max deal of $200 million, who is going to trade for him? He's got 1 year left on his deal. Where do you go? Because unless he goes, I mean, the rumor is San Antonio, and he can play with Wemby. There's a little bit of a rumor also about Brooklyn. Where is he going to go? Okay. What is the value of him, the trade value for him?
So let's talk about a couple of things. First of all, if he is traded, he is no longer eligible for a supermax.
Sure.
Okay, so that's number one. And he is only eligible for a supermax, I believe, if he makes another All-NBA team or the All-Star team, both of which are very unlikely this year.
I don't know if the All-Star team is unlikely.
Really?
He's averaging like 27, 6, and 6.
Oh, maybe it has to be All-NBA.
That'd be All-NBA.
It's
no
got to
one
be
who's on
All-NBA.
a 500 team.
It's not All-Star team. It's All-NBA. And he's probably not going to make the All-NBA team this year.
No.
Right? I mean, it's really hard to make it at the guard position. It's incredibly hard to make it at the guard position. All right, so let's talk about teams that would be in play. Okay? First of all, the biggest question is, if you're Sacramento, what do you want? Let's assume you're going to trade him, right? So you just acquired DeMar DeRozan for 3 years and $75 million.
Correct.
Okay. DeMar DeRozan provides no spacing. That's part of the problem. Part of the problem with the Kings is that they have DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, and De'Aaron Fox on the court at the same time. None of them provide outside shooting. None.
So are you looking at Cam Johnson and 2 first-round picks?
First of all, I think it would take more. I don't think Cam Johnson is enough, and I think it would take more. Number one, that's number one. Number two, would he want to go to the Nets? Because he is in he doesn't have a no trade clause.
Correct.
There's only one of those in the NBA. Actually, there are 2 now.
There's 2.
LeBron and
Bradley Beal.
So 2. So he doesn't have a no trade clause. However, if you're acquiring him with 1 more year on his deal with no extension until the summer. So if De'Aaron Fox is coming to you, your Brooklyn Nets, and saying, if you acquire me, I'm not going to re-sign with you. Well, you're probably not going to acquire him because you're not going to give up all that, right? So let's presume that he says, I will re-sign with the Nets for God knows what reason. There are 2 things that go against this type of trade. Number one, your Nets are playing capture the flag. So if he is being traded, I hope, if you are a Nets fan, you say, De'Aaron Fox, it was nice seeing you this year.
Take off the rest of the year.
We'll see you in 2025. We hope you have a hamstring pull on the way over. Right? Because he's only going to help you get better, not get worse. So and you just traded Phoenix's picks to get back your picks so you can play capture the flag.
Agreed.
All right. So that's number one. Number two, which picks are you giving up? The Knicks picks?
They have 840 picks.
Right.
I'm not sure.
But they're not giving up
There's
theirs.
something out there.
Right.
Sacramento, you said Sacramento needs shooting.
Right. But are they giving up their picks? The Nets are not giving up their picks, right?
No.
So you're giving up 2 to 3 picks all in the back end of the first round.
Well, or you do a swap in 2029 with one of them.
Okay, which again is probably in the back end of the first round. Because if you're Sacramento, you're hoping to be good by getting Cam Johnson. You're not playing.
Okay, so then all right, so let's take the step back then. Brooklyn's not the fit.
Right.
San Antonio, you're going to trade Keldon Johnson and 2 first-round picks or 3 first-round picks? Because he will re-sign in San Antonio, supposedly.
I agree.
He wants to play with Wemby, is the rumor.
I think that he would re-sign in San Antonio, Miami, or Dallas. Without any question. No, I'm not saying those are great fits for him. He is from Texas. So I believe he would re-sign. And Houston, I think he would re-sign. Houston's the best fit. But Houston, I don't think Houston's made all reports that I have read. Houston's fine with where they are. They're not making that deal. They're good for today. And again, what are you hoping to, we need to know what is Sacramento going to sell off? Are they selling DeMar DeRozan after this? Are they selling? They're keeping Sabonis because he's their guy. But other than that, are they tearing it down and looking to rebuild?
Oh, it was interesting. I was reading the boards of Sacramento last night, what are words I never thought I would hear for 1,000, Alex. The fans are fickle by nature. Most of them want Fox gone. Apparently, I guess they seem happier with other players. And again, look, people are very fickle, especially when you hear that someone wants to leave your team. I don't think they would be overly upset, is my impression, if Fox goes. Do you try and trade back for Kevin Huerter and 2 first round? Like, I don't know the value unless you, as you said, he's going to re-sign in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going outside of those 3 or 4 teams, I don't know the value that you can get for him.
Right. Well, and that's part of it, right? And you've given yourself 5 days. So if you're clutch, maybe 6 days. I mean, I think it all depends on the way forward for Sacramento. Is Sacramento looking for picks? Because if they're looking for picks, there are 2 teams, 3 teams maybe that you want to deal with, right? I mean, you want to deal with San Antonio, which has Atlanta's picks on top of their picks, on top of a Chicago swap, on top of a Celtics swap. Yes, this is all from memory that I remember these. You want to deal with Utah, where he is not re-signing. But
right.
No, I'm just saying these are even if they're 3 or 4 team trades, you can get some of those guys in, right? So San Antonio will not make, and probably cannot make a straight trade with the Kings for De'Aaron Fox.
Probably not.
Because there's one player that's on San Antonio that cannot be traded to Sacramento. Any idea who that is? It's a quirk in the system.
I don't.
Okay. So there is a rule that if you trade a player to a team, you cannot trade him back within a year.
I'm familiar with the rule. I just don't know who
Harrison Barnes cannot be traded back. Harrison Barnes has $18 million cap number. It is a perfect cap number for this because if you put him with Keldon Johnson and a small piece, you have equal De'Aaron Fox. Now, what Sacramento will not want to do is take on Zach Collins, who has 3 years past this year on his contract. No. Nor would most teams want to do that. Now, you could say, all right, well, let's make this fun. Let's put Jimmy, Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, and De'Aaron Fox all in the same trade. Right?
Have you been playing the trade machine?
Nope. This is in my brain. Let's throw them all in the same deal.
Well, Beal's 51.
Yep. Beal's
Butler's
the highest
42.
one. Beal's the highest one. Remember, now you
Games
have
around 40.
Remember, you have apron restrictions too, so teams can't take more. So play it out. See where you come up. There may have to be a fifth team in there. There may. I'm not saying there is. There may, depending on where players go.
The problem is, okay, let's just bring this up for the sake of bringing this up.
Please do.
Beal is not waiving his no trade clause to go to, unless he's going to Miami. He's not waiving his no trade clause.
And Miami doesn't want him.
Miami doesn't want him. So that's kind of irrelevant.
By the way, you could also throw Chris Middleton in there and make it even a bigger trade.
Okay, but Middleton's about $33 million.
Which is about the same as De'Aaron Fox.
Except who's going to want Middleton, who's been injured for the better part of 3 years?
Well, this is where all these picks come in. All right, so here's your game, okay? Chris Middleton, with his expiring contract, goes to Miami.
Okay.
Okay? You with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Goes to Miami. Bradley Beal goes to Milwaukee to play with Giannis and Damon Lillard, which may be the worst defensive backcourt.
I was going to say that is a horrifying defensive backcourt.
It is, but it may work. Okay, we're still going strong here, though, because so far...
Can Milwaukee take on the increase in contract? Because that's
They can, because they're also going to trade Bobby Portis.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure that helps them, but they're going to do it. Or they can trade Pat Connaughton, which may help them.
Okay, let's keep going. This is fun.
Jimmy Butler goes to the only place Jimmy Butler wants to go.
Phoenix.
And they can take that on because Butler is less than Beal.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Zach LaVine goes to...
Where's Zach LaVine going?
Sacramento. Which has wanted Zach LaVine since he signed an offer sheet 4 years ago to go there.
Okay.
And De'Aaron Fox goes to San Antonio.
So what's Chicago getting?
Picks, and more picks from everybody. They're getting...
I don't think they're getting that many picks because...
Remember, San Antonio hasn't traded a damn thing yet. But they got De'Aaron Fox. So they have to trade Keldon Johnson and picks. Harrison Barnes goes to Chicago, where he can go, because that's how that salary works. Keldon Johnson goes to Sacramento, because that's how that works. You love this. I have thought about all this. And
you work for a living, right? Just checking.
Dude, I did this in the gym this morning with my brain. And then 2 first-round picks go to Chicago. And I think it all works. It's a 6-team trade.
So who's going to turn it down?
Everybody. Everybody but Phoenix. Everybody but Phoenix. Phoenix gets what they want, right?
That is correct.
Everybody but Phoenix. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why Bradley Beal and Tim Bontemps calls it the most toxic contract in the NBA. And do you know why? Do you have an idea why?
Well, because of the no trade clause.
Because the no trade clause continues when you trade it.
Correct.
What Phoenix should have done last year when they acquired him was require him to drop the no trade.
But he may not have made the deal.
Agreed. But he wanted out of Washington so badly. And there was
no, he didn't. That was the thing. He wanted out, but it was not a Kyrie Irving wanting out of Brooklyn thing.
Well, but that's not Bradley Beal. But that's not Bradley Beal in general.
Right, correct.
So, all right. So 5 teams, 5 stars, 6 teams, 5 stars. 6 teams, 5 stars. None of that will happen. I don't even think De'Aaron Fox gets traded.
Probably not.
I don't think Jimmy gets traded.
You do think Cam Johnson will be traded?
Yes, I do. And I don't know where. I mean, look, the perfect place for Cam Johnson is San Antonio.
That would work. They need outside shooting. He's a reasonable contract. I've seen that for Keldon Johnson in a first-round pick.
Yeah. But you want Atlanta's first-round pick. You don't want theirs.
Correct.
By the way, Atlanta's Jalen Johnson underwent
out for the season.
He's out too. So now it's the Trae Young show again for more. And believe it or not, Trae Young has actually played pretty well this year, despite my eagerness to think that he is awful. I still think he's awful. But
I was going to say.
I still think he's awful. He has put up good numbers. In 36 minutes, he's 22, 11 and a half, and 3. His assist to turnover ratio is only 2.4.
That's not terrible for him.
I will tell you that is amazing considering. So I used to play fantasy basketball way back when. And fantasy basketball had a minus for turnovers, right? I mean, turnover ratio, not even turnovers, but turnover ratio. And one of the best players in fantasy basketball to have was Allen Iverson, until you get to the turnovers, where he had almost 5 1 year, a game.
Eef.
Right. And Jason Kidd used to have 4 a game. So he'd have like triple doubles, but 4 turnovers a game. 2.4 turnovers a game ain't bad. Like, that's a pretty good. I mean, I am legitimately surprised that he is going 22 points and only 2.4 turnovers. Now, credit to DeAndre Hunter, who is probably the 6th man of the year, putting up 19 points on 28 minutes a game. And
finally earning his draft status.
Yeah, well, he'll probably step into that starting role now that Jalen Johnson is there,
Correct.
Ruining his 6th man of the year contest.
Correct.
Which stinks for him. All right. Have you started watching the NBA at all? Are you there?
A bit more.
Are you there? You got a week of no football. So where are you for the next week?
Right now I'm watching The Night Agent, which is so boring I can't even get around it. I'm following it. I'm not going crazy with it. Look, my team is 14-32 and are flagging for flag.
Capturing.
So what'd you say?
You're capturing the flag.
They're flagging for flag.
Flagging for flag.
I'm trying. I'm following enough, for lack of a better term. Look, right now the East is 4 teams. It's really 3.5 teams.
Yep.
And the West is really 1 team, to be honest. So
they're playing really well. 37-8.
And at some point, Holmgren comes back.
Yeah. Well, here, so we're looking on January 29th, not even at the All-Star game yet, but some interesting stats from the NBA. Okay. The Cavs are 37-9, which is only 1 game behind the Thunder in the loss column. I didn't pick that.
No, and that's why Kenny Atkinson wins Coach of the Year without us, probably unanimously at this point.
And the Cavs may have 3 All-Stars, potentially. Okay, surprise. So these are surprise things. 37-9, Thunder at 37-8. Really not a surprise. I mean, not to me anyway. No. All right. Other surprises.
I think Houston at 32-14 is shocking.
Oh, I was going to go to the Eastern Conference first. First of all, Miami at 23-22 in number 6 without Jimmy Butler for most of the year, and Tyler Hero playing at an all-star level. To me, that's a surprise, especially with Bam Adebayo having one of the worst years in his career.
Yeah, he is. I mean, 15-10 is not, in less than a block a game, is not what you're expecting from your 2-time Olympian.
The Pistons at 500 and the 8th seed in the playoffs right now. I like it. By the way, you asked me who I would want. I'm sorry, I missed this guy. I would want Isaiah Stewart from Detroit.
Okay.
He's got 3 years left, $18 million on that salary. Fits very well with the Mitchell Robinson contract. But I will tell you, you'd have to give them at least a first round pick, and the Knicks have one.
Yep.
And it's not even theirs. So who knows if they'll be able to do that. All right. The Bulls at 20 and 27. It's only a surprise that they're in the 10th spot, because the 11th spot is the 76ers at 18 and 27. Whoo!
That is shocking.
And it ain't going to get any better.
I think it'll get a little bit better. But, I mean, who would want to play if, again, everything is contingent on what you have with Embiid.
Yeah.
But you're not paying George $50 million a year for 17 and 5.
Right.
Maxi's been sensational.
And the thing
McCain is out for the year, and he was the rookie of the year in a horrible rookie class.
Yeah.
But in a 3-game series, you don't want to play, talent-wise, 3 of the top 20 guys in the NBA if healthy.
They're 3-7 in their last 10, which means, considering they're on a 3-game winning streak, they were 0-7 before that. That's how math works, ladies and gentlemen. If they are the 10th,
I wouldn't know.
If they are the 10 seed, I gotta tell you, now you love saying a healthy Joel Embiid, because we all like saying a healthy Joel Embiid.
Correct, but we don't really know what that means, because who knows if he will be healthy ever again, let alone this year.
A playoff series between the Cavaliers at 1 and Embiid's team, if he's healthy, at 8. That 1-8 series. Yes, please. That's what you Cleveland Cavalier fans get as your reward for finishing first in the East, is you get to play perhaps Joel Embiid. Okay. Other surprises, and this is not a surprise, but I'm just happy for it. The only NBA pick I put down in Vegas was
the Washington Wizards under 22.
And they have 6 wins. I think I am. And they have gone 0-10 and have lost 14 straight games. I think I'm doing all right on that one. Yes, I'll take that. All right.
Did they have a chance to beat Philadelphia as the worst team of all time?
The worst team of all time doesn't have 10 wins, right? It has like 8 wins.
No, I think it was 8, or I think it was 9 and 73.
Hold on. The 11-12 Bobcats.
Yeah, but they played a short season.
Yeah, they went 7. The 72-73 Sixers. Is that what we're looking at?
I know is 9 and 73.
They went 9 and 73. So, well done. Will they win 3 more games? I don't know. I think they'll win 3 more games, because they play in the East, right? Where there are more teams tanking in this. I mean, you got the Raptors that'll tank. You know, the Bulls do not want to make the playoffs. Like, they have a top 10 protected pick. They want that pick. So you know that they're going to tank. You know that the Nets are 14 and 33, and they want to tank. You know,
the Nets were 7 and 6, I think, at one point.
You know, the Hornets want to tank. I'm just saying there are too many teams here that want to tank, that in the East that they have to play, that they'll get 3 more.
Can you imagine actually paying money to watch the Nets versus the Wizards?
When's that game? I wonder what the cost of tickets is.
They would pay you $40 to go to that game.
I'm looking at the schedule. So that game, tickets as low as $8. It's on a Wednesday night. That's in Brooklyn. If we're going at Washington, tickets as low as $5. Wait, we keep going. Hold on. Oh, and then at Washington on Saturday, even worse is Saturday, March 29th. Like, we're at the end of the season, and they play Washington with less than 2 weeks to go. $6. $6 to go to that game. You know, we could go to DC and just move up, right?
Move up.
You and I could just meet in DC and move up. Yeah. All right. Moving on to the West. Like you said, the Rockets. The Rockets are the surprise team of all. And
Yes.
they can make any trade they want. That team is second to the Thunder in assets. I mean, I'm just going to bring up the Houston Rockets salary cap because we all love middle range salaries, right? These are the salaries that you can trade. These. All right. They have 6 guys between $9 and $22 million, including Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, Reed Shepard, Jalen Green, and Steve Adams and Dylan Brooks. The hardest part is that 2 guys that and Şengün's earning 5, by the way. I mean, he's got an extension for 33 starting next year, but this year he's earning $5 million. The hardest part for them to make a deal is the problem that they may not have big enough salaries to make that deal.
Correct.
Because Cam Whitmore and Torrey Eason are only earning $4 million apiece in the NBA. So, but they have assets. They have players. They have draft picks. They have their own. They have Phoenix's, right? They have what Brooklyn gave them to get their own back. This team, and they're in second place, right? They're in second place in their division, and I think third or fourth they're second in the Western Conference at 32-14. All right. Memphis third. I believe you and I both picked them second this year in the conference. So we're doing
Correct.
okay. The Nuggets at fourth. And the surprise of this team is definitely Russell Westbrook, who has been playing as well as he's played in 10 years. 27 minutes a game, 13.2 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. For getting a guy on the minimum.
Good for him. So
his shooting, which has always been questionable, 47.6%, and 3-point shooting at 33.7%. Now, is that starting material? Probably not. Is it 6-man material? Oh, yeah. And he's playing
46% for a guard. That's starting material.
Yeah, maybe. Remember, though, most players are shooting 35 to 40% from 3. Most starting players, anyway. Okay. Golden State. Stephen Curry came out a couple of weeks ago and said, look, I don't want you to give up all the resources in the world to go for it this year. 23-23. By the way, 23-23 gets you into 7th place in the East, and it's 11th place in the West.
11th place in the West.
The Spurs at 20-23. The Blazers at 18-29. The Pelicans, who have gotten killed with injuries all year, at 12-35.
Well, that also brings up the Zion question.
Zion's only played 12 games.
Is there anything you can do with him? So talented when healthy, so rarely healthy. Between him and Brandon Ingram, who wants $50 million a year, which nobody's going to give him.
Nope.
Where do you go?
Well, let me ask you
this. So much talent.
Let me ask you this for a couple of things. First of all, the thing about New Orleans is always players don't want to play there, right? So you had your Anthony Davises that got traded from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a history of superstars in that city leaving. And here you have Zion. Now, granted, Zion, who agreed to stay. He didn't demand a trade out. He said, I will sign on the dotted line. Now, whether that was a smart move for the Pelicans is a different story, but he did. If you trade him, you're trading a franchise player. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trading a franchise player
At the low end, on 50 cents on the dollar.
not only on 50 cents on the dollar, but if he ever does what, remember, Rick Smits, right? I'm comparing him to Rick Smits for a reason. The first 5 years of Rick Smits' career were awful. Foot injury after foot injury after foot injury. And then Rick Smits became a 17-8 guy, 17-7 guy, right? Because he got healthy.
Correct.
Okay. So if you have, and you could say the same thing as Joel Embiid, right? The first 2 years were awful, and then he became an MVP. If you are the New Orleans Pelicans and you trade Zion Williamson, certainly if you trade him in like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trade, getting only Junior Bridgman back and picks, and then he goes to, let's say, Chicago, which I think would be a great fit, by the way, and he becomes a 25-10 guy and is healthy for 75 games a year, how do you look? How do you look? That's the fear with anybody trading Zion Williamson, is you know what he can give you when he's healthy. He's just not healthy. Brandon Ingram's a different story. Brandon Ingram, even when healthy, is not worth a max contract.
No.
He's just not that efficient.
Well, I mean, if you look through the max contracts, how many people over the years have really been worth the max contracts?
All right, you want to play that game? Max contracts, NBA. Let's see. Historically, we have a look at the maximum. Is this for every year? Nope, this is just for what it is. Okay, max contracts NBA given. Let's see if there is a list of those max contracts. I mean, I can figure it out. All right, let's figure it out. Who in the NBA? Remember, there are different max contracts too. Who in the NBA?
Let me go off for a second. Hold on. Let me go off for a second.
Okay.
Hey, Carl.
Take Seth off for a second. All right, so we're looking who in the NBA has received a max contract. And it's important, right? Because you have the Supermax, you have – all right, so let's look at the list of highest paid players. I think that's probably – we can go down that road and see if those people are legit. Seth, you ready to come back? Nope, not yet. All right. So the highest paid player in the league right now is Jaylen Brown. Well, that'll be in 28-29 at $65 million. He's probably worth it. I mean, based on what he's done in the past. 27-28 is Giannis and Anthony Davis. Now, again, we're talking in the future, so who knows? I think Seth's coming back.
Give me 2 seconds.
Who knows what they're going to be in 3 years? But I got to think Giannis and Anthony Davis are probably there. Damian Lillard is not worth $63 million. Steph Curry is worth it. LeBron James is worth it. Kobe Bryant's worth it. That's basically where we are for those types of contracts. I mean, I don't have a list of the absolute. I have the top 10, right? Jason Tatum, 315. Oh, Seth's back. Jason Tatum, 315. Jason Tatum's worth it. Jaylen Brown, 304. He's worth it today. Whether he's worth it in 5 years, I don't know.
I mean, wait a minute. He's worth it. He's worth $60 million a year?
Compared to who?
Top 5. Is he a top 5 player in the league?
Is he worth it compared to Zion worth it? Yeah, he's worth it. He plays, right?
Yes. Compared to Zion, yes.
Okay.
Compared to
Is Tatum one of the top 5 players in the league?
The argument is you think Brown is better than Tatum, correct?
No, I think Brown is more complete than Tatum. I don't think he's better than Tatum. Look, Tatum's made first-team All-NBAs. Brown has not. So there's other people than me that think that Jason Tatum's a better player. That's fine.
Correct.
He also played 2 different positions. So, but when you have 5 guys last year, I believe it was independent of position. It was just the top 5 guys. Okay. Nikola Jokic, worth the max, right?
Correct.
Bradley Beal, not worth a max.
No.
Giannis, worth a max.
Correct.
Devin Booker, maybe worth a max. Maybe. Remember,
Booker's excellent. But What'd you say?
Booker's like 26.
Yeah.
Sabonis.
Great player, but not a max.
Steph Curry. Yeah.
Steph Curry is worth a max based on what he's done previously. Is he worth a max at this point in his career? Probably not.
Luka Doncic. Worth a max.
Luka's worth the max.
Zach LaVine. Not worth a max.
Not worth the max.
Not worth the max. Those are the top 10 contracts in NBA history, believe it or not. You just hit on all of them. And Bradley Beal is number 4. With a no-trade clause, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep coming around to the no-trade clause. I will bet you there will not be another no-trade clause given out. I mean, there are only 3 guys I ever remember having one. Do you remember the third?
Was it John Wall?
Nope. It's Kobe Bean Bryant. Kobe got his no-trade clause. So
interesting, since Kobe requested a trade.
Well, there are rules behind the no-trade clause, okay? The rules are you have to play 10 years with the same team before requesting it.
Fair.
So, or I think you can get it as a free agent. I don't know how LeBron got his. Has he been 10 years with the Lakers? No, right?
LeBron?
Yeah.
LeBron's nowhere near 10 years with the
Right.
Lakers.
So I don't know how he got that no. Oh, here it is. No trade clauses. Having 8 years of NBA experience, having played 4 years, it used to be 10, signing a new contract and not an extension. Those are the 3 things. So a free agent can get a no trade clause. But he has to play 4 years with the team. So when he opted out, he got the no trade clause coming back in because it was a new contract. Kobe was the last one, I believe, that had one. And I think those are the only 3 players that have ever had one. And Kobe got it. And then he got it when he re-signed with the Lakers so they wouldn't trade him. Because there were rumors, remember, he would be traded to Chicago.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I know you have to drop at 5:45, and I do as well. So let's wrap up with our final 5. Sir, if you would.
Congratulations to Madison Keys. It takes a lot when you become a pro at 14 and you're the next big thing, and it never really materializes. And you go to one final, and you get humbled. I mean, you literally win 3 games in a final. And you kind of established a nice career, but never any real thought of major superstardom at this point. And then a week before you turn 30, you beat 5 straight seeds, including the 5 seed, and including the 10 seed, the 5 seed, and then you beat the 1 and 2 seeds in the semifinal and final to win the Australian, your first major. Phenomenal accomplishment. Congratulations. That's pretty amazing.
So congratulations to the Yeti Cooler Company. Because of the Yeti Cooler Company, the Yeti, long considered the favorite to be the Utah Hockey Club's team name, which is the one I was completely in favor of, is no longer in consideration. It is out because the Yeti Cooler Company has stated it would be copyright infringement. And yep, they're out. So we have 3 new possibilities: the Mammoths, the Wasatch, or the Utah Hockey Club, none of which are anywhere close to the Yeti. The Yeti is phenomenal. If you recall, when the Golden Knights came in, there was also a copyright problem with the U.S. Army because their parachuting is called the Golden Knights, and there was a licensing agreement between both of those parties. You would think Yeti, the licensed endorsed cooler of the Utah Yeti, would probably make sense somewhere. It's cold. It's with the Yetis. It's with Utah. It's with the Yetis. I don't get it. I just don't get how you could not see the marketing potential here and how the greatest name potentially in sports And by the way, which would add another team without an S at the end to the trivia question, would be awesome. But nope, we have no Yeti. By the way, a Yeti is also a singular and a plural. There is no such thing as the Yetis. So for Seth Kamens, who's over there, I'm Sean Palmer over here. You got your grammar and punctuation lesson as well as an NBA salary cap. We'll see you guys next week when we talk all the trades that did not happen, because I foresee a lot more not happening than do. Adios, amigos.
Have a good one, everybody.